to YouTube real quick and make sure we on here. Say live, but I don't. Hold on. Used to just pop up there. It's letting me know it's me ain't been on here in a while. You ain't been on here in a while, Kofi. All right. Used to just pop up there. It letting me know it's me ain't been on here in a while. You ain't been on. Hold on. Y'all give me a few minutes. I know ain't nobody done got in the chat yet. So just for uh people that may tune in later to the archives or whatever, but give me just a second. I'm gonna try to share it. We hadn't went live in a minute from Kofi Piesie TV. So hold on, I'm gonna try to share it. Give me just a second to share it, and I'll jump into the presentation. Uh, damn. See what I want to do. Copy the link. Throw in a few groups real quick. Shoot. Wish Sean was on here. That joker there. Yeah, the Sharon Master. He been on sharing something so damn. Bear with me for a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Just trying to share the show. Hadn't been on the channel in a while. All right. I ain't gonna share in all these groups. I'm just sharing a couple of groups. Man. Hey, Vasa.
Yes, sir.
If you can, you and Satip, man, y'all kind of help me out too, man. Sure.
I'm
Yeah, I'm
doing
about to, Kofi. I'm just wrapping up this food I'm making. I'm about to.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I forgot about you was in there burning some more. Go ahead.
Let me see.
I don't know if any. Yeah, I'm gonna share one more, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and get started, man. We'll just have to check it out. Come in late. Oh, okay. I see you got me right there. That's cool. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and share it right here on my page, and we're gonna jump into it, ladies and gentlemen. So, I'll tag a few people. That ain't what I was trying to do. Ooh, I can't remember. Everybody Chicago. Kufu. Fortune. I just got too many friends. I don't know who all. You know, Chala. Hissy. I think I got Boston. Hissy. Dang. Hissy. Man, that's a no. I've done too much. I'm delayed too long. I want to say ETM Hotel. Dual Dual Aku. Dual Nature. Uh, Fatmu Lafayette. Fatmu Iwapele. Uh, Igun. Majuba Iba Igungun, Majuba Iba Egungun, Majuba Iba Alakba, Majuba Iba Alakba. I always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors, because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. Uh, Welcome back to Kofi Piesie TV. It's been a minute since we done anything on Kofi Piesie TV. We've been doing most of our things on the Masi Warrior Clan YouTube channel. Um, Today we're gonna get into part one of 5 parts. How white folks got so rich. I got Bossa Nicolo Gullah on the panel, and I got Satep and Rod Miriam on the panel. Y'all got anything, man? Before I jump into
Peace. Peace to the chat.
it.
Peace to the panel. Let's get it.
Oh, my bad, y'all. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Peace to the panel, peace to the audience and future audience.
All right. Let's let me share my screen real quick. She gone. Oh shit, I forgot all about. Man in the full knowledge of himself is a superb and supreme creature of creation. When man becomes possessor over the knowledge of himself, he becomes master of his environment and captain of his own ship, the director of his own destiny, the accomplisher of his own ends. Man should understand himself because man is full of knowledge, and this knowledge is a gift of nature. When Mother Nature created man, she deprived him of nothing. He was given the faculty of understanding all things around him. His faculty for understanding has never been taken away from him. None of his senses have been taken away from him. So there is no excuse for a black man. Red in my team, red, black, and green, queen, the king, salute, now scream, I should. Bring proof and underneath it, I should. So there is no excuse for a black man. Red in my team, red, black, and green, queen, the king, salute, now scream, I should. Bring proof and underneath it, I should. All right, today's presentation is called How White Folks Got So Rich. This is part one of 5 parts, maybe be a few more parts. Me and Satip and Ra are gonna do excuse me, another one of those parts. I see you in the chat, in her Sean California. Yeah, you pseudo. You talking about yourself, Sean.
I'm talking about you.
Oh, I didn't even know you was on the panel, man.
That's how I roll. Sneak attack.
Yeah, man, it was good.
And not much, man. Go ahead, man. Go in. I'm just sharing the video while you build.
Yeah, because I was trying to share it, man, but it's, I ain't quick draw McGraw. But all right, today's presentation is called How White Folks Got So Rich. I always have to put a disclaimer out there before I get started. The disclaimer is I am not a teacher, but merely a student sharing information, and that information provided is for the educational purpose only. And if you are in doubt, do the research and have it verified by someone qualified. I reserve the right to change the focus of this presentation to shut down, sell, or exchange the terms of the use at my own discretion. All trademark, design rights, copyrights, registered names, mottos, logos, avatars, or sigmas, and marks used or cited by this website or the property of the respective owners. I reserve the right to add information as it comes available in the future, adapt changes, approve information as it comes available in the future, inputs wanted, changes, additions, are encouraged. I always have to put it as I learn. My saying, and those that have been following me, I'm trying to do two, three things at one time. Y'all, give me 1 second. All right. All right. For those that have been following me, know this is my saying. I believe in this saying. As I learn, we all learn. My new saying, let's get this culture. All right. First, we're going to talk about the Indian land grab. The presentation again is called How White Folks Got So Rich. So we're going to be breaking down white supremacy. You know, what did these people do in order for them to acquire or generate all this wealth? And we know that they did a lot of, the Europeans in America did a lot of things. They raped, murdered, pillaged, destroyed, steal, lied, uh, and etc. in order to attain some of this wealth. So in these series that we're going to be presenting to y'all, we're going to be breaking down a lot of those things that they did in order to acquire wealth, and some of the things that they did in order to put those who were freed, uh, those Africans that were freed, put us in the situation that we are in today. All right, Indian land grab. From the very first start of European colonization in America, the invading settlers were begging their British kings to destroy the savages at an ever faster rate than already was. The king's slowness and annihilated the Indians were one of the reasons the so-called founding fathers wanted to separate it from England. Their Declaration of Independence called them the merciless Indian savages, and the early Thanksgiving holidays were little more than celebration for the successful racial massacre. I'm gonna say that again. And the early Thanksgiving holidays were the little more than celebration for the successful racial massacre. The Red Holocaust was systematically calculated and extremely profitable. Colonies, merchants, supplies, and British, Dutch, French, and American armies to authentically cleanse the Indian nations from their ancestral land. Once the armies retreated, it was the merchants who surveyed and divided the land into lots and began selling them to the white settlers. The land values was created out of thin air, and these property rights were protected by the U.S. government legendary American frontmen like Daniel Boone and even George Washington, pre-president, were actually surveyors in the employ of these merchants, measuring out property lines and killing the Indians that remain. And I'm gonna stop right there real quick because I mean it kind of uh, I know they teach us about they taught us about George Washington, still teaching our kids about George Washington. And I'll talk a little bit more about George Washington in uh these different parts of how white folks got rich. But pre the president, before he became the president, George Washington, we know George Washington owned slaves. We know George, but they don't teach our babies that in school. And he actually was one of the surveyors uh, who actually was employed to measuring the property lines for the Indians that remain. In the 10 months, the forces Washington led had fought 20 battles against the people who had lived on the land thousands of years. Between 1781 and 1871, Americans entered into over 400 treaties with the Indians and promptly broke every last one of them. We know that they are known for these different treaties and never uh, holding to the treaties that they had. We see that when they was in West Africa. We see that when they was in the Congo, these different treaties that they did, they never hold fast to any of these treaties. Uh, Hold on, did I finish reading it? Okay, properly broke every last one of them. President Andrew Jackson, Indian Removal Act in 1830, initiated a series of genocide wars against the remaining Indian nations. The policy confines the surveys to about 310 reservations where they can be found today. The Dawes Act. Uh, Massachusetts Congress Henry L. Dawes drafted a federal legislative enact in 1887, which ordered the registering of Indians so that they could receive an allotment of their own land. But to get on the Dawes roll, Native Americans had to change their names to make them English sounding. This allowed white officials to slip the names of their relatives and friends onto the Dawes rolls and the legal reps for themselves millions of acres of land. In one state alone, 138 million acres of Indian held land at the time of the Dawes Act in 1887 had been reduced to 47 million acres by 1934 when the act was replied. So you can see here that what they did was after the Indian Removal Act, they started removing and pushing so-called Native Americans into Oklahoma, pushing them into Texas, pushing them into Mexico, um, Florida. You start seeing, you start to see that they come up with this Dawes Act, and as they come up with this Dawes Act, the Native Americans, in order for them to be enrolled into in order for them to, I guess, have whatever comes with this Dawes Act, they had to change their names. They had to change their names into English names, and this was uh, a plot or a strategy in order for the Europeans to get um, their folks on a roll as Native Americans to receive some of the benefits that came with this, and that was receiving millions of, which they received acres of land, millions of acres of land. And it started out as 838 billion acres of Indian held land at one time. And then by 1934, it had been reduced to 47 million acres, been reduced by 47 acres by 1934. Ultimately, the Indian Holocaust netted for the white man 2.3 billion acres of free land, land that has a government estimated value of 4,000 per acre or 9.2 trillion. Slavery, the most profitable business of all times. Everything in the Western world is cited in institutions. Everything in the Western world is cities, institutions, and wealth is built on the profits of black slavery. Paris, Rome, London, New York names. New York named the place, and its riches are the spoils of the greatest criminal endeavors in the history of the universe. Blacks were believed to be social essential to whites' advancement, that whites build thousands of ships over hundreds of years, sail thousands of miles over treacherous oceans, instigated brutal African wars, captured and imprisoned the African people, bought them back thousands of miles to America, exploiting their labor, and sold them onto the open market, enslaving them. So this is a brief breakdown of what the European did. They instigated different wars. We know they instigated different wars. They turned some of our brothers, our kindreds, against us for certain reasons. Whether it was starving them out, whether them giving them certain trinkets or material that they never utilized, and so forth. Kidnapping them, uh, tricking them to get on the boat, and etc., and selling them off across the ocean to never return to their homeland and utilize them for their own gain. These Africans were by no means savages and has been advanced by historians seeking the justified of the justified the atrocities. A close reading of the newspaper advisement placed by American slave trade revealed that blacks were skilled artistics and craftsmen at the highest level. It is easy to find slaves sell ads selling engineers, carpenters, cowboys, shipbuilders, mechanics, stonemasons, nurses, blacksmiths, seamstress. I don't know how cowboys got on there. Excuse that. I don't know what I was supposed to put right there, but it wasn't supposed to be cowboys. But blacksmiths, seamstress, weavers, shoemakers, and bakers. And this is just one of them here. Will be sold before the doors of the Eagle Tavern at 12 o'clock Monday, the 21st instance. A number of valuable slaves, and most you will have when they advertise, and they'll have advertising these kidnap victims and the skill sets. You can see here an excellent carpenter, uh, a brick molder, a crop hand, uh, a woman with 5 children, women are excellent house servants and young. The men are mostly young. So here is an advertisement where they're advertising
Hey,
the skill
Kofi,
sets. Go
before you
ahead.
leave that page, don't say it was a mistake to have us labeled as cowboys because they more than likely would have, due to the fact
Hold
that.
on.
Can you hear
You
me?
breaking up? Is he breaking? Is it on my end or is he breaking up?
Nah, I hear him.
Okay, go ahead. It might be on my end. Go ahead.
Due to the fact we had a better history and better knowledge of free range, if you want to call it cattle, just to keep it in the aspect of cows, they more than likely would have been labeling us as cowboys because we knew how to herd and domesticate animals better than they did at the time. So they
Mm,
might have called it, that might have been a skill set to say, so and so is a cowboy, but it would have been in the aspect of how to tend and herd uh, these cattle.
right.
He didn't
Right.
have that skill set. We got to
Mm,
remember, majority of the slaves were slaves of high crafts and high skills. Uh, so leaving it as cowboys, that's not a mistake. I just wanted to throw that out before you got to
okay.
the next slide.
Yeah. And anytime y'all want to build on one of these slides, man, like I said, just jump in. Just feel free to jump in. All right. We talked about some of the presidents a while ago. We mentioned George Washington. These, and again, and I stated that they are teaching our babies about some of these things, but they're not telling the truth when they talking about some of these things or mentioning some of these individuals in the school textbooks. Like you hear them talk about George Washington, Andrew Jackson, Tom Thomas Jefferson, and a few other different presidents over the years. And this is just a screenshot. I didn't feel like snatching the pictures and pasting them. So I just took it out of one of the books that I had. And here is George Washington. George Washington owned 350 slaves. And again, in the earlier slide, before he was president, doing the process of them moving, doing the Indian Removal Act, where they were surveying. He was one of those that went out and surveyed a lot of that land. I think it was over 100 and some million acres of land that they had at a particular time that the Indians had that they went and surveyed and took over as they pushed the Native Americans off of those pieces of land. So here's George Washington. He owned 350 slaves. Tell your babies that this man was not a good man, and he did not tell. They'll tell you that this man told no lies, and he was a great man. This man was a wicked man. He owned 350 slaves. Andrew Jackson owned 200 slaves. Thomas Jefferson owned 200 slaves. James Madison 106 slaves. John Tyler 75 slaves. James K. Polk 25 slaves. Zackerson Taylor 150 slaves. Ulysses S. Grant 5 slaves. James Monroe 75 slaves. Martin Van Burns 1 slave. William H. Harrison 11 slaves. Andrew Johnson uh, uh, 8 slaves. So these are some of the U.S. presidents right here who own slaves. Black slave laborers built American infrastructures, including its building roads, bridges, and railroads. Black slaves built the President House and the Capitol in Washington, D.C. Blacks built America just as they built the pyramids in Egypt, and they gave civilization to the Europeans. Whatever might be credited to the white laborers was nonetheless financed by profits from the cotton, sugar, and tobacco crops, all made possible by the African slave labor. But this led us just to take the most celebrated American, George Washington. At one point in his enormous life, he held as many as 350 slaves, as I stated a while ago, black Africans. 92 of them was children. The highest ratio of children to adults indicated Washington was a slave breeder and major industry in his home state of Virginia. And again, tell your friends, tell your babies. Anytime they come home with a school project or they say that they learned something about George Washington today, you let them know that this man did tell lies. This man was a wicked man. This man had, they could say, a slave. Uh, he breeded slaves. He owned 350 slaves. He was involved in pushing the Native Americans off of their land and surveying their land and numerous of other different things. What would one to today with the many lifelong unpaid employees? The sardonic Ralph Wiley wrote, "Give me a free labor of one black person for 1 year, I would be a rich man. Give me free labor of a dozen black people for 250 years, I would be American." The sugar to cotton to oil. Whites gotta have it. For 134 years between 1803 and 1937, cotton as American exported, and this slave grown staples was the single biggest drive of the European expansion. Cotton was at the very foundation of America economics, and it is turbo fueled industrial growth worldwide. Excuse me. Indeed, cotton was to the world economics in its era what oil is to the present. True. Western civilization was built on the sweet blood and tears of black African men, women, and children who planted, cultivated, and picked valuable crops and then wrapped it into 200 to 500-pound bales. The race-based culture cotton's created is the very root of the multiplicity of misery affected by blacks to this very day. Without cotton, slavery in the New World was very likely headed for extinction. Sugar holes driven European expansions and the slave trades into the sugar growing region of South America and the Caribbean. But by the late 18th century, slaves revolted and a waning market threatened to crash that economic. The invention of the cotton gin in 1793, a machine that efficiently separated the seeds from the fiber, speeds up the cotton production 50 folds, instantly making it much more profitable and desirable. The miraculous fibers could be transformed into almost any type of cloth or garment and dyed in any pattern. It could be made into rope, curtains. It could be upholstery, and clothing, woven densely from warmth or loosely for hot climates, and it could even be made to mimic fine silks at a fabrication of the cost. The whole world glamors to the reclothed of cotton, and that escalated demands to put the black man and woman on the auction block in increasing numbers, just as demands for sugar did generations before. One cannot overstate the values and cottons to white world prosperity and corresponding cotton direct connection to the destructions of black civilizations. By 1840, cotton experts were greater than all other experts combined in America. 75,000 cotton plantations generated three-fourths of the world cotton supplies. At least 6 of every 10 Africans worked directly in cotton productions. The others were largely engaged in growing foods and building houses for the use of the cotton cultivating slaves, construction road, bridges, ports, and cotton shippings and transports, and tending the homes of families of cotton masters, cotton traders, and cotton business. Moreover, enslaved Africans represented two-thirds of the plantation family, and that's supposed to have been on this other slide. Wealth and half of the remainder of the land they worked. The plantation family depended on the very labors of the blacks it enslaved for its total income, protection, and survival. A British economist calculated should any dire calamity befalls the land of cotton, 1,000 of our merchant ships would rot out in dock. 10,000 mills must stop their busy looms. 2,000,000 miles would starve for the lack of food to feed them. France was said to be even more dependent on American cotton than the British. So we can see that the cotton after the sugar boom, you get the cotton boom. So cotton became very plentiful for the European. The mega wealth of the Rothschild banking family was derived from cotton. The mega wealth of Rothschild's banking family was derived from cotton. The mega wealth of the Rothschild's banking family was derived from cotton. The Lehman Brothers and their investment banking houses began as a cotton trader in Alabama. Cotton was the motive for all developments of a vast and expand international web of finance, politics, transportation, and communication of global networks that relied entirely on the force of enslavement of a whole race of people. And industrialization spreads after slavery. Petroleum oil rose in the value to the world enterprise, and the geopolitical focus shifted to the North America, Middle East, where today it remains the predominant commodity, which we know a lot of our babies join the military, and they up under the propaganda, up under the assumption that these people over in another whole country are terrorists. They are a threat to the United States of America. They are a threat to the world. So they send our babies over there in their armies and their military to fight in the Middle East over there in a different country over there to tear up and destroy a country. Then after we destroy a country, break down its government, steal the natural resources, and then try to help the country rebuild after we went in war and destroyed it for no reason at all but to rape it of the natural resources. All right now, oil and gas. Right now, I'm talking about the present, oil and gas. Middle East, where today is a remains of the permanent commodities, bringing with it a suffering misery and havoc long enduring by the people of America and Africans, and now inflicted upon the indigenous people, unlucky enough to live on top of the black gold. That is, like I said, it wasn't going to be a long presentation. Um, this is part one. The wanted to start off with a small one. All of them is gonna kind of be bite sized. They're not gonna be too big, but I'm gonna walk you through each part. Again, this is part one of five, or maybe more series to come. I got three locked and loaded already. This is the first one. So I want to continue to break down how white folks got rich, or break down uh, how they use white supremacy in order to gain their wealth. So a lot of these stories are untold stories that is not familiar to us, or untold stories that we did not learn and we're not going to get uh, in uh, in school. So first, I wanted to start off with just this presentation. I wanted to start off with uh, the Native Americans, them coming over here, taking the Native American land. Well, genocide most of the Native Americans, and then those that was left, they created the Indian Removal Act. Uh, Indian Removal Act pushed them off the land, surveyed the land, also I wanted to break down or explain just briefly on the Dawes Act. You can look the Dawes Act if you want more information on the Dawes Act, but how they utilize uh, the ones in order to reap the benefits from the Dawes Act to reap land that the already land that was already the Native American, but in order for them to reap acres of land, they had to change their names to English names, and it was a plot in order for uh, the Europeans to get their family's name on roll, because again, the Native Americans had to change their names to an English name. So therefore, a lot of the acres of land started going the to the European, because they started enrolling in the Dawes Act as a Native American, because they couldn't tell the difference if it was a Native American. We know if I look at a Chinese name, a Japanese name, an Arab name, we can identify who these people are. But English, they had to change their name. So okay, so it could be a Native American, because the Native Americans now are walking around with Englishmen uh, names. So I wanted to kind of go through the Dawes Act real quick on how they actually came over here, stole the land, then wanted to give some of the land back, but come up with the Dawes Act, and then took where they was able to make it legal for their families in order to get these acres of land. And we're gonna get more into the acres of land when we get to the Homestead Act, because in one of the presentations we're gonna get into redlining, we're gonna get into the Homestead Acts, we're gonna get into what the projects was first built for, and etc. What they use. We're gonna get into a whole bunch of spills, but this and I just want to go again with the Native Americans to explain the Dawes Act, some of the trickery that they did doing with the Native Americans into the slave trade, them kidnapping a bunch of our ancestors, or tricking some of our ancestors, or depriving our ancestors of certain things, uh, um, and etc., bringing them to the Caribbean, South America, uh, um, into North America, and the things that we did on the sugar plantation, which I really didn't touch too much on the sugar plantation, but the sugar plantation was one thing that they used in order to acquire wealth off the backs of people that they kidnapped to work on these sugar plantations, and then going into the cotton boom, where cotton became one of the biggest things at one particular time, and everybody and their mama had their hands in that. And the Rothschilds, which we know the Rothschilds of the Rothschild Bank, the World International Bank, acquire a lot of their wealth also off of cotton. Um, so I just wanted to go brief with this. And again, like I said, we're gonna get into part two, part three next week, part four. Every week I'm gonna come with a different part and explain it to you, the different levels of what they, or different levels of white supremacy, or the different levels of things that they use in order for them to acquire wealth. And again, they acquire wealth by raping, murdering, pillaging, lying, stealing. One of the slides, we know that they are famous for coming in and trying to be friends, and or even setting up treaties. And every treaty that they had, they broke. One of the slides said that they they broke every treaty that they had. They had come up a treaty with 400 treaties, and every treaty that they broke. And I, again, like I said, and we know that they do not hold their word. But right here, what I have here is this is Satep and Rod presentation for the next few weeks. Kofi Piesie TV. We've been off for a while. We hadn't been doing too many presentations since in 2019. We went hard in 2018. Uh, all year in 2018. I only done one presentation in 2019. I've been doing more presentations on the Mossy, but I'm going to split it up now between the Mossy and Kofi Piesie TV. So this was the first jump start of us getting back into the motion. And tomorrow we'll be doing another. Actually, we'll be doing two shows tomorrow. I'll be doing one on the Mossy Warrior Clan tomorrow. Then we'll be coming back later on, and we'll be doing this presentation by my brother Satip and Rod. And then we'll close out on that show, and then we'll come back and we'll do another show. Vasa Nicolo Gullah will be heading the discussion about the black families and the looking forward to the black family presentation that he will be presenting on this channel. Then we'll come back next week and we'll do it all over again with part two, of how white folks got so rich. And then Sunday we'll be doing another presentation. It'll probably be part three of how white folks got so rich. Uh, and every week we just gonna be doing something. We're gonna be doing something. So be looking forward to that. I know some people came in late. Go back and check out the slides that I have. Go over the slides um that I have. Again, I didn't want to keep people too long, and these are going to be small, bite-sized presentations of information that you can take. Uh, yeah, that you can take. But I'm gonna look in the chat and see if anybody got any questions, man. Peace. I don't know who's still all on here, man, but peace, sister Trismus. Peace, sister Kayla. Peace, West Side Africa. LB. Peace, 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 peace. Peace, from West Africa. Peace, Mika. Peace, brother Zane. Peace, Athena. Sister Athea. Peace, 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 sister Kappa. Kappa. Peace, sister Kappa. Uh, Shaver's. Peace, 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 peace. Just trying to speak. Peace, sister Lisa. Peace, brother Khalid. Just trying to speak to everybody in the chat. And again, appreciate y'all for supporting. Uh, I really appreciate y'all for supporting, man. Like I said, I didn't expect this many people to be in here. Uh, due to we hadn't another moderator just okay. Due to like I said, we hadn't been on here in a while, but I see once my brother started sharing the show, everybody wanted to come in. So I appreciate, man, the people in the support and just get back in the swing of things. The Kofi Piesie TV is back. Again, if you missed majority of the presentation, feel free to go back and relook at the presentation. And again, you'll have part two next week and part three next week. Part two Saturday, part three on Sunday, and then following that you'll have part four. Maybe part four will be me and Satepara presenting part five, and then I may do a part six. But I know this is one of five presentations that we have. Also, be looking for. I keep saying the Belgium, but the Berlin Conference, the Scrambling for Africa presentation. I may pop up with that at any time. It's locked and loaded. It'll also be presented on this channel as well. So, again, Satepara, what is this brother name? And just telling people what they'll be expecting from you tomorrow at 6 p.m. on Kofi Piesie TV. I guess the tip and rod walked away from the screen. But this is his presentation tomorrow. He built on this with me. It's gonna be a pretty interesting presentation on tomorrow on this brother here. So be looking forward for that on to on tomorrow. Also be looking forward on the Master Warrior Clan channel tomorrow. I'll be doing the Odenani presentation tomorrow. For those that want, and I see it's kind of been um a lot of information been going on about the Igbo. So if you want to learn about the Igbo way of life, um, the Igbo way of life, um, check out me tomorrow on Masi Warrior Clan with the presentation Odenani. Odenani is going to break down the Igbo way of life, their spirituality, because there's some misconceptions that the Igbos are Hebrews, the Igbos are Jews. So we'll break all that down on tomorrow. Somebody open the mic.
Oh yeah, I did. Before you close out, I wanted people to understand cotton is still highly important to this country. So much so that it's 75% of the material that's your money. Your money is printed on 75% cotton. And then I put a person of interest that y'all might want to look into. His name was Moses Whitmer. and he sued up against the Dawes commissions for the freedman for them not getting their equal share after I want to say it was the Choctaws who got a little over $8 million at the time that was supposed to be dispersed throughout. And one of the things they used to not give blacks, ironically, was the fact that so many of them had English names handed down by their slave masters. So, for example, if you had two people with the same name, they may not give each one of them the same allotments, but they would turn around and use that again in courts to benefit them. This is a secret way they got paid. They would take notice to that they got so many of the same names, and they wouldn't report that these people actually had the same name, but instead they would use it for their insurance purposes and collect funds from them handing out the money. Give it out one time, but may collect an insurance payment up to two, three, four, five, six, 9 times, but the whole time depriving the people that it was rightfully supposed to go to. I don't want to get too long winded because I know you was trying to close it out, but yeah,
Oh no, you good, you good.
this is a big, big, big conversation on how they actually did accumulate so much wealth. It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy.
Yeah, cotton is big business. Here are my references right here for my little small presentation right here. And a lot of these references were two of the references that you will see through all 5 parts of this presentation. The first 2 books up there, then the other references may change at the bottom. Um, but particularly, I use a lot of information from 3 particular books, and the 2 books at the top you will see on all of them, and then you will see 2 more books that well, the other book that I use. Most of my information came from those 3 books, but I got other information from other different things as I was reading and researching other things. So, like I said, be on the lookout for those other parts because we're going to keep going and dissecting uh, and exposing white supremacy and the things that they did in order for them to get rich, and the things that they did that put them in a or catapulted them in a higher position, and the things that they did, the underhanded things and the trickery things that they did in order to put put us in a position of poverty. So these are my references again here. Uh, and again, tomorrow be on the lookout for Brother Satepara Miriamin presentation on Kofi Piesie TV at 6 p.m. Please come and support. Also be on the lookout at 2 p.m. On the Masi Warrior Clan channel. I'll be doing my old Denani presentation, The Way of Life of the Igbo. Uh, Also, at the closing of the Kofi Piesie TV show tomorrow, at the Satipara, we'll be doing a discussion, and I may I'm gonna put the link in the chat because I want some women to come on, even some men to come in and build, because we're gonna have a discussion on the black family. So I think that's gonna be a powerful discussion on the black family. What is a black family, uh, and so forth. So be on the lookout for that show following right after this presentation tomorrow on Kofi Piesie TV. Please go and subscribe to these channels. Please go and subscribe to these channels. Please support us. I get upset sometimes. I look at all these other channels. I don't look at the channels, but I look and I go and look and I see all these subscribers on these other channels, and these other channels, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of pseudo information on those channels. It's a lot of foolishness on that channel. It's a lot of tomfoolery on those channels and etc. Please go and support, um, these channels. I know sometimes people may say that. I mean, I know most black people like entertainment. We just gonna do the work. We gonna do the work. We gonna present the work. We not gonna do no ad hominems. We not finna talk about your mama. We not finna talk about your daddy. We ain't finna talk about killing nobody. We ain't finna talk about we the best and f those other people. We not finna do it. So I know a lot of times, like, man, I don't want to go over here, and listen, because shit, they these guys over here got good character. They seem like they have morals and some type of principles and edicts. You know what I'm saying? I want to go over here with the foolishness where the people don't have any type of morals or respect for anybody else. So that's what we tend to prone to and go over there. But continue to support us and tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend about these channels right here, because these channels are some in my opinion, some powerful platforms with some good information on there, man. You know what I'm saying? Without all that other extra stuff. So please go subscribe to the Sexual Ani Metaneta group. We are a group of like-minded members who are aspiring or aspiring to be true scribes. We are studying the language, which is called the Rani Kemet, and the writing script, which is called the Sechmeta Neter, or what you may know as the hieroglyphs. Please go check us out on Facebook. Our Facebook page is the Seshu Ma'ani Meta Neter. Also go to our website. It is also called Seshu Ma'ani Meta Neter. www.seshumaani.meta. You can read articles. We got articles on there. Also, books. If you want to take the classes, you can also, get in touch with some Saber or through the website and be able to purchase the textbook for the class, which is the beginner's course of the Session of the Nature. Also, you'll be able to get the penmanship book by our sister Emicat, if you want to learn how to write the sesh, and also you'll be able to purchase the book, the rebuttal book that we did in 2016, surrounding the supposed to been debate. It has the session that been deciphered. So that's a rebuttal book to Walter Williams to have the session that have been deciphered. You can also purchase that book on that site uh, as well. Also, please go and support Kofi Piesie TV. Please go subscribe, hit the notification bell. Uh, yeah, hit the notification bell. Kofi Piesie TV is the channel that takes the black man, black woman, and black child, Eurocentric mind, and Africanize it. What time tomorrow? Athena, tomorrow at 2 p.m., the Mossy Warrior Clan channel for the Odinani presentation that I'll be doing. I'll be doing that on the Mossy at 2 p.m. And then Satep will be coming back on Kofi Piesie TV at 6, and we'll be doing a presentation. Uh, um, I don't know what the name. I mean, just a presentation on this brother here by Satepra, and then following right after that presentation, we'll be going into another show which is called Central Standard Time. Sister Kaylin, we'll be going into a discussion. It'll be another show. We'll end that show, and then we'll come back with another show. Brother Vasa Nicola will be heading the discussion on that show, and we want input from from anybody, and we'll put the link in if some people else want to come in and join in discussion. And it's around this discussion is around black families. So, and it's just to build up the presentation that Vasa Nicola will have, that he'll be also be presenting soon on Kofi Piesie TV. So there'll be two shows tomorrow on Kofi Piesie TV and one on the Mossy Warrior Clan channel. So please go and subscribe, hit the notification bell. You don't want to miss these presentations at all. And Kofi Piesie TV is the channel that takes a black man, black woman, and black child Eurocentric mind and Africanizing. Also, please go subscribe to
Kofi,
the. Go ahead.
you didn't turn into MC Iron Laws, man. All I've been hearing is infomercials for the last 30 minutes, man.
It
You gonna
don't
end
matter.
your show or what?
I'm gonna end it when I want to end it. When I
Okay,
want
well, go
to
ahead.
end.
Well, go ahead and keep on talking, man. Go
Okay.
ahead. You
All right.
sound you sound like an infomercial.
All right. Because I'm trying to get us some subscribers, some more subscribers.
We gonna
Uh,
get the subscribers. Drop the information.
yeah, but I'm gonna tell them to please, please, please go subscribe to the Monster Warrior Clan YouTube channel. Also, please go subscribe, hit the notification bell. We are doing something every Sunday. You do not want to miss these presentations. Also, check us out on Facebook. We have a like page. Go and check out the like page. There is numerous information on the channel. We put information on there every day. Sean put more information than anybody on the like page on there. I can't keep up right now. I only have the time to, but when I get a chance, I always try to drop at least 2 or 3 things a week on there. I can't drop something on there like I used to every day, all day, or 3 times a week. I mean, 7 days a week. I can't at this time. I can't do it. But go check it out. But go check out the information on there. Um, That's all I have, man. If anybody else got anything, man, before we get out of here, man. Sean, you got anything to say with your peanut head?
Somebody asked for links in the chat. I don't know what in particular links they want though, but they asked
Put
if
the link in the chat, bro. What? I mean, the link. You talking about the link for tomorrow, brother Khalid?
Hey man, he be live tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central, man. Tune in to the Master Warrior Clan YouTube channel, and then that evening, man, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna have Brother Satip and Mary Amin going ham on Kofi Piesie TV. The link will get dropped, but as far as the links to the like page, you can go in and type in Master Warrior Clan, and our like page will come up for you. And please like the like page, share the info, whatever you feeling. We got it all on there, like he said. You know what I'm saying? As far as the Seshu, look up Seshu. That's SESHEW. Ma Ni, which is MAA space NY. That's Ma Ni. Medu, MEDEW. Netcher, NETCHER on YouTube, and you will see the divine royal scribes pop up. Go subscribe to that. Subscribe to Kofi Piesie TV. And then on YouTube, go and look up the Masa Warrior Clan and do what he just said, man. All right. COVID. Take your head off real quick.
Take my head out.
Yeah.
I see that hair. You want to see that
Take the
red?
whole head off, bro. Come on, man. You in the house, man. Take the
Man,
whole head. Oh, you didn't.
no,
No. Take your head off.
my hair ain't
Take
combed.
your bucket
No,
off, bro. You
my
didn't
hair,
cut your hair down.
nah. Oh, it's a little bit, but
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
it ain't combed. That's
Say a
why.
little bit again one time for all us country folk.
No, but we
Come on,
finna get out
Reverend.
here. We finna get
Reverend
out.
Pie.
But yeah, man. Again, appreciate y'all for tuning in. We'll see y'all tomorrow. The Master Warrior Clan, and we'll see y'all late tomorrow evening on Kofi Piesie TV. Until then, I want to say Shimim Hotep and Black African Power, family.